What is going on, guys? This is Versus All Gaming with my review of Hamatora episode 9, and this episode here, it gave a lot of depth to 3's character, and that right there surprised me. I had no idea that his character would go in this direction, because you look at the guy, and he is a beast, he's a tank, he's a monster, and we see that this guy is nothing but, a softie, especially the kids. So I was definitely surprised to see that his character was like this. But I gotta say, this episode, I did enjoy it, and this right here definitely boosted 3's character in my book, because this right here was good character depth and good character growth. I'm glad that we saw, his true self, and I'm glad that we saw his past, because it was definitely emotional, and we see how far he has come now. So that right there was freaking amazing. So the episode, it starts off with everybody in Hamatora. They get this notice or reminder from the minimum, holder agency, and they also run that school that they all went to. And of course now, with all these people, getting minimums and causing all the trouble, it's no wonder that they will send this out. But we actually learned that 3, he's not there. And we learned that him and Honey aren't always together, even though throughout this series when they're first introduced, we have seen them together all this time, but they come to the point where they do split up. And so we learned that he actually goes into this orphanage, and all these little kids, they just freaking love him. And we see that he bought them some kind of gift. We didn't see what it was because we never saw him take it out. It was just in a box, so we don't know what was in there. But at least we saw, at least we saw him get him something. So right after that, we actually go back to the agency, and we see that everybody's eating on these cookies, I guess. And apparently these cookies were meant for art. But when Nice had to go give them to him, his partner here, Guy Suke, he would not let him see art no matter what. And I'm pretty sure that this guy, he definitely knows that that art is definitely not around anymore. I'm pretty sure he's working with Morales somehow, but for some reason he would just not let Nice in. And I'm pretty sure that's because Nice would definitely figure out that it's not really art. So maybe that's why he was so adamant about keeping him out. And so now he had to give all these cookies to them. But we see that when Nice and 3, when Honey and 3 are together again, they actually go to Art, who they don't know is dead, and they don't know that that's Morale. And we see that he took him off the case that was about himself. So this guy is definitely smart, and he's definitely cunning. And so while they were talking to him, he was saying that he's gonna put them on another case, but we don't know what that is. But it's definitely fishy, how Morale, basically knows everything about art in his past, because he called 3 Sensei. So maybe when he takes the form of somebody else, not only does they get their appearance and their voice, but it's possible that he gets their memories as well. So that right there is definitely interesting that he knew all that. Or it's just possible that he was stalking them, and maybe that's how he knows so much. But I do wonder how in the world did he know that Art was at some point 3 student, because that right there really caught me off guard. And I thought that right there could possibly possibly hidden something that could possibly rat him out. But we see that Nice here, he went to the flower shop, and we see that Morale partner actually works there, and she called him and told him. And so now we are basically looking for these flowers for Hajime. And speaking of Hajime, we actually see that when actually you know what, I'll say that for later time. But we see that Nice, he was looking for the flower that smelled like hamburgers for Hajime. And the woman that worked there, she was saying, wouldn't it be easier to just buy her a hamburger than buy her flowers, because obviously no flowers are gonna smell like that. So his search here, it was kind of in vain. But we see that this store that he came to, it got some good ads online. Some good reviews online, and that's how he found out about it. But we see that they have this ad that will pop up when I believe it was when you say that you're getting married, or it's possible when somebody's getting married, they'll bring up the special ad. So clearly that right there is something very unique and special, and it definitely stood out to Nice. So he asked this woman, was she a programmer, and she was saying that she only knew the basics. So clearly something right there was fishy. and Nice kind of called her out a bit to see if she would like fall for this bait, and he called her a hacker, and we see that the look in her eyes definitely changed. So after that, he had left, and clearly Nice is onto something, and I'm pretty sure that he could keep an eye on this woman, especially this shop. But after Nice had left and she called morale, he was saying that it probably not be good for her to show up for a while now, and and he was also saying that even though that he could take art form, it's not going to fool Nice for long. So I do wonder how long is morale planning on avoiding him, because it's obvious that Nice is too smart that he'll figure out that it's not art right away. But we see that when they go back to the bar, we have Koniko. She like chases down this guy off the shop, and he has this job, and we see that the job it involves it involves spying and ratting out or finding out this history of 3. And speaking of 3, I almost forgot that at some point we got this like flashback here of his past, and we see that he was like a mercenary, and he was definitely nice to these kids. He was like even reading them stories. But we see that on the job he was doing, where he just went in and killed everybody with this gun. This guy was an amazing soldier. I will say that he took out everybody. But we see that when he had planted this bomb, and he was trying to make his escape. We see that the other soldiers, they had rounded up these kids, and when he ran toward them, trying to save these kids, because obviously they need to be saved. Especially this like one girl, they even called out for him. He was like running there, and he was like dodging all these bullets, but it was too late. At the building that they were standing by, it blew up and it killed all of them. And we see how he got that scar as just like flying debris. It like hit his face, and that really explains how he got the scar. And so now that they took this job and they went to the press with the story about 3, we had all these like news people, these the press, and people having the interviews, especially with this like one person. They were trying to make 3 out to be a monster, and they're putting out these pictures that people will obviously believe. And he was like yelling and just acting like a wild animal. So obviously people were not getting that good of idea about him, and they were saying how he was like torturing these kids, beating them, whatever. And he was even selling their organs. So clearly they were just bashing him, and it was just so wrong. But 3, he's still strong actually, and he actually did not care about what they were saying. He just wanted to make sure that the kids were safe. So he actually went to the orphanage, and he was like watching over them. And so then after their job was done, we have Raito, Birthday, and Honey. They had like snuck in there carrying fruit, and even though the fruit was definitely part of the plan, but the whole point of doing this, it was mainly to sneak Honey inside, because the guy that runs the bar, she was saying that if she went right there, then the press would just like just harass her with all these questions. So obviously she had to sneak in there, and it worked. And so we see now that she is definitely concerned about 3, and she doesn't like the people bashing him, and she even got upset at one point, and it caused one of the kids to like throw a fruit at her and hit him right in the nose. And even though that was funny, these kids started saying these words that kids should definitely not be saying, especially at this young age. But we actually learned that the real reason why 3 made this place, and he's raising these kids, is so that he could train them and watch them grow up into killing him, because he knows at some point they'll find out who the person responsible for killing their parents, and so of course they'll want revenge. Excuse me. And so now we have him basically making the kids into murderers, because they're gonna take his life, and that is definitely like a bit extreme. I really wish it wasn't like that. But Nice here, him being so smart, he definitely realized what he was doing, because the name here, I believe that it meant something in Latin, I believe, but I kind of forgot the moment, because if he because Nice was saying that if he was doing this to really redeem himself, that he was just naming like sin. But I believe the word that it's named after, I believe it's revenge. And so now we have Honey here, who definitely was upset, because there's no way she'll want 3 to die. And so, well, they actually made the promise together where Three here will protect Honey for the rest of his life. And she was saying that there's no way that, she'll let him come out of that and, just die so easily. So she actually plans on raising these kids. And now that she went out there acting all nice, these kids were definitely, follow her as well. And when she was going to read one of them a story, it was just so freaking hilarious how one of the guys, how one of the little kids asked her if he could touch her boobs. That right there was definitely funny. I love how even though this episode was pretty serious, it still had that comedy in it, and it was just so freaking funny to me. And so we see as it get late into the evening, we have these soldiers that like randomly storm into the building. And so now we have Murasaki and Nice. They also appear because Nice had wanted to ask you a question in person rather than like contact him on the phone or something. And so we see that some of these soldiers, they had actually ran upstairs. And we have one in particular that actually a minimum holder, but his power is like kind of weird because he could like make this pipe basically into a whip. And he does try to attack Honey with it, but Three easily protects her. So now we have Honey and Murasaki, they go after the kids, and we have Three and Nice dealing with this guy. And they definitely overpower him pretty easily. And Three here were actually going to kill him, or at least I thought he was going to kill him, because obviously, he had that look in his eye of rage. And this guy was just so obsessed into basically, making Three into the perfect killing machine that the hidden intention here was to kill these kids and actually frame Three for doing it. But of course, there's no way that, the other people here that are so close to him were going to let that happen. And so now we have Murasaki taking out those guys, and Honey here was protecting the kids. And we have Nice going up there as well. But this guy had like this plan up his sleeve. He basically, had these like explosive or flammable, vests on these people. And when he pressed this, this button or switch, whatever, it suddenly ignited. And of course, they didn't want to burn it down, so they took it off and threw it. And we see that it set the orphanage ablaze. And just when Three here were going to snap and kill this guy, he could hear the kids calling out for him, and that right there, brought him to reality. And we saw the true Three right there. It was just like Nice was saying, what's the real or what's the true Three, and we did see that. This Three that this guy wanted to see is not that killing machine or killing beast or bloody beast as he went by, but it's this nice caring guy that cared about this kid, and especially about Honey. And so after throwing that guy away, we see that he used his power to easily get up to the kids, and not only did he save them, but in the process he did destroy that orphanage. And we get the flashback here of after those people had died. We see that he had met Honey when she was so young. And of course, she saw him crying, so she offered him her hands, and he took it. I'm guessing that right there is when they made their promise. But now we see Beast. I mean, now we see Three acting like a beast, I should say, as he saved the kids by like destroying the roof, and they were like walking off. And the guy that came to them for that job, he was like taking pictures, and he was saying that he no longer needed Hamatora. And so, he was saying that they did not have to pay him back the money, but Nice here had took his camera and destroyed it. And he was saying that, the payment that he gave them should be enough to cover that. And so then we have Murasaki who had also, saved those soldiers as well. So now basically nobody died, but in the process we had lost, this orphanage. But I'm pretty sure that like Three is definitely going to, repair that with ease. I'm definitely sure that he's not done with these kids just yet. And it's definitely nice how Honey here is going to help him raise them. I just love, this little bond or friendship or relationship that these two characters have, because it's just so strong and so prominent in this series. But now we have Morale, who was looking onward at them, and he was saying that he's gonna send some kind of beacon. But then we have all these people wearing these black hoodies, and their faces are like covered by the hood. We don't really see their eyes, but they all have these like black cosmos in their pocket or attached to the hoodies. And so I'm guessing that this right here is like his own little army of minimum holders. So I do wonder, what is he planning? What in the world could he be planning with all these people because it's just crazy. But like I said, this episode, it was definitely good. 3 character got so much development that I loved it a lot. 3, you are the man. But as always, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe because that really helps me out. And you guys take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.